Hello everyone, welcome back to the Advanced English course. In today's session, without wasting much time, we'll be talking about tenses. This is the only video you need to cover all the tenses that are there, and pretty much everything is there in this video. So let's get started. Let's talk about what are tenses. Tenses tell us when an action happens. This should be your focus level. When is that action taking place? Is this action taking place in past, present, or future? That means there are three kinds of tenses: past tense, present tense, and future tense. Also, you will need to understand that every tense has four different forms. We have simple tenses, we have continuous tenses, perfect tenses, and perfect continuous tenses. In a way, we can say that there are 12 total types of tenses across three different categories: past, present, and future. So we'll be talking about all 12 tenses, and you should definitely wait till the end of the video to get the maximum output. The first information that I want to share is about Speaking Club, which has started recently. If you want to register for the course, you can register on english.learnwithsamanash.com. The current batch is already going on, but for the new batch, you can check our website and register soon if you want to practice with me one-on-one. Now let's talk about the first category, which is present tense. In present tense, we'll be talking about simple present. Simple present is a tense which helps you to talk about facts, habit, and routine. Whenever you want to share any information about facts, habit, or routine, something that takes place every day. For example, I drink tea every morning. I do this every day. So this is my present tense. I'm going to change the color of the pen here because I think it seems to be way too light. Let's go with green. Okay. I drink tea every morning. I drink tea every morning. The sun rises in the east. The sun rises in the east. Simple present tense, the verb remains same. If you notice here very carefully, drink is drink. Then we have rise, it remains rises. There are few changes that you can notice here, which we will talk about in the exception category. So let's talk about exception. With he, she, it, you will always add s and es at the end of the verb. So when I say rise, since we were talking about sun, which is only one, it's singular. There is only one sun, which is singular. So you have to put s at the end of the verb. You have to put s or es at the end of the verb. So whenever you have he, she, it, or any singular noun, any singular subject, you will put s and es at the end of the verb. For example, she likes coffee. This is she, so we have put s. But when we talk about they, you don't have to put s. You can just say like coffee. One of the common mistakes which a lot of us make, so let's pay extra attention, that if you have singular noun, you will put s and es at the end of the verb. Okay? Next tense is present continuous tense. Present continuous talks about actions that are happening right now. When you and I are talking, if there is something happening in the world, we can talk about it in continuous tense. For example, I am teaching a class. I am teaching. They are playing football. Some kids outside are playing football. Notice what is the structure. You will always have is, am, are plus verb ing form. In order to talk about present continuous tense, to talk about actions happening now, you will write is, am, are, verb ing form. Okay, let's talk about an action. There are something called as stative verb, which are about emotions, feelings. They don't talk about action. There are two kinds of verb. We have action, we have stative. Stative verbs don't use ing form. That means you cannot write present continuous tense for stative verbs. For example, on your screen, know, love, believe, etc. These are stative verbs. I know you. It's not an action, it's a situation. I love you, not an action. Believe you, it's a state of mind that I have trust in you. So all of these verbs, you cannot write ing form. I am knowing the answer is wrong. The correct answer is I know the answer. Instead of saying I am knowing, you have to say I know the answer. Remember this, stative verbs will not have ing form. So when McDonald's says that I am loving it, this sentence is grammatically incorrect. I love it. You are not loving it, you love it. But they're using it as a tag. They're not saying it's a grammatically correct sentence. They're using it as a tag. That's why they are okay with it. Next we have present perfect tense. Present perfect tense talks about past actions with a connection to now. They have past actions context, but that past action will be connected to the present. That's why this is present perfect. Perfect shows past, but connected to present shows present perfect. For example, I have seen that movie. You and I are talking about a movie and suddenly you realize that you have already seen this, so you can say that I have seen that movie. Or she has finished her work. She has finished her work just now. So whenever you have has or have, whenever you has or have plus verb third form, that is present perfect tense. Has, have, verb third form. I hope this is clear with all of you. Has or have plus verb third form is present perfect. To talk about actions that are in the past but they have connection in the present. There are few exceptions you should keep in mind. Whenever you find these words in a sentence, yet, just, already, these shows present perfect tense. For example, she has already finished her work. Has, verb third form, in between they have written already. She has already finished her work. Okay? Let's move on to present perfect continuous. To break it down, I can say that there is a connection of perfect tense and there is a connection of continuous tense. From continuous tense, we remember ing form. Whenever there is a continuous tense, there is ing form. Whenever there is a perfect tense, there is verb third form, if you remember. If we talk about perfect, we think about verb third form, but if we talk about continuous, we think about ing form. So let's understand. Present perfect continuous tense talks about action which started in the past and they're still continuing. Okay? This is present tense. Let me write it. Something started here. Pay attention. Something started here, which is past tense. Everything beyond this point is past tense. So something started here, it continued, and in the present moment also it is still continuing. Am I making this clear? Action started in the past, it is continuing till present, it's still not over. These kind of sentences are referred as present perfect continuous tense for action started in the past and still continuing. So the structure is I have been learning. Verb ing form shows continuous tense. Here, been is showing perfect tense and has and have is also showing perfect tense. So, I have been learning English for 2 years. That means I'm still learning English. English is not over. Okay? She has been waiting for an hour. That means she's still waiting. In present perfect tense, you will have some kind of duration. 2 years, 1 hour. This is another important aspect of continuous tenses, that they have duration in it. I have been teaching this class for 2 hours now. That means it's still going on, it's not over. Okay? Next we have past tense. Whatever you have learned about present tense, make it past. So when I say simple past tense, to talk about actions completed in the past. No connection to present, it's over. For example, I went to the market. It's done. So you will always write verb second form. Verb second form. She studied last night. Second form. To talk about actions that are already over. Let's move on to the next one. We have Few exceptions. There are another categories of verb, irregular verbs. Irregular verbs don't follow ED rule. So when we say go, it becomes went. When we say eat, it becomes ate. I will provide a free PDF to talk about verb first, second and third form. You have to write us an email for that. You remember the logic. I'll be giving you for few regular verbs and the irregular verbs. So irregular verbs, generally, when we talk about regular verbs, they are verb first form, second form, third form. So when we write the first form, for example, I walk, the second form will have ED. The third form will also have ED. But irregular verbs change completely. Go becomes went and the third form becomes gone. Eat becomes ate and the third form becomes eaten. But in regular verbs, it remains same. Okay, let's move on to the past continuous tense to talk about actions happening at a past time. Somewhere in the past, this action was taking place. For example, I was reading a book at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. is over. At 5 p.m. I was reading. I'm not reading now. They were watching TV in the past, not anymore. So whenever you want to talk about actions that took place, that were taking place in the past, they were happening in the past, the structure is was and verb plus verb ing form. Was and verb plus ing form. If you don't have ing form and you simply say that I was sad, you are not using ing form, this becomes simple past tense. But if I say I was feeling sad, it becomes past continuous tense. So this is important. This is very important. Next, past perfect tense to talk about actions completed before another past action. Let's look at the timeline. My timeline is going down. This is present tense. Everything beyond this is past tense. We are talking about an action which was completed before another action, and both of these actions are in the past. Action 1 is finished before action 2, and both of these actions are finished in the past. So both the actions are over, but one action is over before another action. Only if you want to communicate such an idea, you use past perfect tense, or else don't use past perfect tense. For an action completed before another past action. For example, she had left before I arrived. So arrival, action number 2, I had left, action number 1. Action 1 is over before another action. The structure is had plus, had plus verb third form. Had plus verb third form is past perfect. They had eaten dinner before 9 p.m. Eaten, left, verb third form. They had eaten dinner before 9 p.m. Action 1, action 2, 9 p.m. Okay. Then we have past perfect continuous tense for past actions continuing for some time and then ended in the past. Look at the timeline. This is present, this is past, and action started, it continued, but it got over in the past itself. It started, it continued, and over in the past. But when we talked about present perfect continuous tense, it was, what was happening? It was still continuing, but here it's over. So the structure is, I had been studying, verb ing form, been, had. You cannot use has or have in past perfect. This is wrong. The only verb you can use is had. I had been studying. Don't forget this been. It shows perfect tense. She had been waiting for hours. She had been waiting for hours. Her wait is over now. She's not waiting anymore. Okay? Alright, let's move on to future tense. This is the last category. Everything we have learned about present, past, will make it future. To talk about actions that will happen in the future. Simple future. For example, I will call you tomorrow. Structure is will, verb, first form. The structure is will plus verb, first form. If you want to remember tenses properly, make a table on a piece of paper with all the structures. Present perfect, past perfect, this is the structure. So whenever we talk about future tense, we say will plus verb first form. I will call you tomorrow. Tomorrow, in the future. I will travel to Delhi tonight. Tonight, that means night is still yet to come. Continuous tense talks about actions that will be happening in the future. They are not happening right now. They will be in the process of happening in the future. This happening. For example, this time tomorrow I will be traveling. Let's say right now we have 11 a.m. So tomorrow at 11 a.m. I will be traveling. I will be doing an action. There will be a process going on. Okay, there is no, we just don't have to say it will happen. It will be happening. Okay, when I say it will happen, okay, this action will take place in the future. I don't know when. It will be happening at 7 p.m. tomorrow. That means this action will be in the process. So the structure is will plus be plus ing form. Ing form tells you it's a continuous thing. Okay. Next sentence is on your screen. We will be celebrating my 30th birthday next week. Celebrating will be. There will be a process going on at that time. Next we have future perfect to talk about actions that will be completed before another action in the future. Let's draw a timeline. This is present tense. Anything beyond this is future. So we are saying that one action will take place in the future. Action that will be completed before a future time. So this action will be over before this timeline. Okay, this action will be over before this timeline. We are talking about two actions, but one action will be over before another action. By next year, look at the timeline. Present tense, this is next year. This is next year. I will have completed my course. My course will be over before next year. Structure is will have completed. So here we will be writing have plus verb third form. I will have. Don't forget the structure. If you can get the structure correct and if you can know that this is where we have to use this particular tense, tenses are not hard at all. I will have turned 35 before 2030. So let's say this is 2030. Somewhere here I will be turning 30. I will have turned 35 before 2030. Okay? Structure is important to talk about action which will be over before another action in the future. Next we have future perfect continuous tense for actions continuing till a future time. Okay? Timeline, there will be, let's say present tense. This action will start. It will continue and there will be another action till a future time. Let's say this is 10 p.m. So you might have started something. That something will continue taking place till 10 p.m. The process will keep on going. By 2026, I will have been working here for 10 years. By 2006, my work will have been continuing. Will have been continuing. Remember, whenever we talked about continuous tense, we had ing. Whenever we talk about perfect continuous, we have been. And based on, if we are talking about future tense, we'll say will have. Okay? By the end of the summer, I will have been saving money for 5 months. Always remember that these things, the duration, 10 years, 5 months, 2 years, are kind of necessary when we talk about any sort of continuous tenses. So whenever we say by 2026, I will have been working here for 10 years, that means I started somewhere, I continued, and 2030, I will be finishing my 10 years. Okay? I will have been working. The process will still going on. That does not mean you will quit. You may continue later, but at this point, you were continuing. Okay? So that's all for our tenses. This is the easiest way I could teach tenses to you. If you want me to make you practice about tenses, if you want me to have some exercises as well, we can create a different video for that. You have to let me know in the comment section. Also, you can claim your free PDF from learnwithsamanash@gmail.com. regular verbs, irregular verbs, all the theory about tenses can be provided to you. Don't forget to check our website and register if you want to practice with me. Everything that we discuss here can actually be practiced together. I hope you had fun. I had totally fun. I had a lot of fun. So let's catch up in the next video. Bye-bye.